Good evening. Hello again. Back again, like I promised. I hope everybody enjoyed yesterday's, or is still enjoying yesterday's little routine. We'll build up a little bit more today. So here in New Zealand, we are just about to head into day one. From tonight, we go into our full lockdown mode. Stress levels are very high all over the place, so we'll get going and we'll get some movement happening, and hopefully hopefully it won't get too dark like it did last night. So again, we're going to start off on our backs, nice and long. Feel how your spine's feeling, hands down by your side, or you can bring your arms up over your head if that's more comfortable, or on your tummy. Slow your breath down and take that big breath in to start with first of all. And all the way out. And again in. And out. And I'll give you some time just to work through that yourself. Close your eyes if you need to. Slow your mind down and just start to run your mind over your body. Start at the top of your head. Notice how your head is feeling. And your scalp, and the back of your head, back of your neck, the backs of your shoulders and the tops of your shoulders. Make sure you're letting go of those. Can you feel your scapulas or your shoulder blades on the floor and your spine on the floor? Keep breathing. Carry on down through your spine and through your back, and you'll feel where your pelvis starts to touch the floor too. Notice how that feels, how your glutes are feeling, your hamstrings. Let go of any tension in those. The backs of your knees and your calves, your ankles, the soles of your feet, your toes. Roll up over the tops of your feet and the front of your ankles. Notice how your shins are feeling, your knees, your quads and your hips. Notice how your pelvis is feeling and your pelvic base and your tummy. Keep breathing, drop any tension. Up through your chest. Make sure those lungs are really expanding. Over the chest and the fronts of your shoulders, the front of your neck, your jaw, the cheekbones, and your eyes and nose, and your forehead. And we'll bring up a leg, or doesn't matter which leg, but just hold it into your chest. Swap sides. Again, just a nice squeeze. Good. Let's come back to that first leg again. Squeeze it in, and then we'll take it in start doing those circles. Take your leg in those nice circles that we did yesterday. Doesn't matter which way you start. You're just getting some movement through the hips. And go the other way. The way, tuck it in nice and tight and swap sides. So come in and then start those circles. Again, it doesn't matter which way you start. Go the other way. Good, and tuck in nice and tightly. Feet flat on the ground, and we'll start rolling up through the spine again like we did last time. So you're rolling up through the pelvis, lifting up one vertebra at a time. So you come to the top or just resting on your shoulders, and just hang up here for a little while. Keep your palms flat on the floor and your weight even in your feet. Push upwards. Keep your glutes active. Keep your core active too. And roll all the way down. And poke your pelvis in the other way as well, just to really unwind, and then come up again, pick up all the way, one vertebra at a time. And roll down all the way. Once more. And see, this is an optional one. If you want to stay like that, that's fine. If you'd like to, you can lift the other or lift a leg up. Make sure you don't fall down through your pelvis, so you're just lifting a leg straight up. Keep sort of on the same trajectory. So you're just extending the knee essentially. Bend that, pop it down, and then try again with the other leg. That foot could be flexed or pointed, whichever feels good for you. Bring it down, push up a little bit through the pelvis, and then roll all the way down. Once more, come up. And roll down. Good, let's get into those hip flexors a little bit. So cross your leg over like we did yesterday, and then just push that knee or the thigh out down. Breathe, keep breathing all the time. Swap sides. Good. Bring your feet together, and then just let your knees fall out to the side wherever they are is fine. Some of us might be quite tight, others might be quite flat on the ground. But just sit there for a little while. You can gently rock through your pelvis just to open up those hips a little bit more. Keep breathing. Very good. Bring the knees up. Let's come up to sitting. And we'll work more on these adductors on the inside of the leg. So one leg out to the side. Play a little bit first of all through your feet. So really work through the feet and the toes up, pointing upwards as much as you can, and then really working just like you did with the spine. And you'll feel that different muscles potentially start to activate and switch on as you do that, and it can feel a bit different depending on what position your foot is in. Make sure your knees are facing upwards, swap sides. Make sure your knees are facing upwards, not rolling in. Moving through a little bit faster today because you're all pros. That's good. And we'll swing around onto all fours again. We'll go through cat-cow. So again, the things to remember here are to have your wrists under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Keep your head and your neck in line. Keep your spine nice and long and neutral. And start drawing up. And all the way down. Come up again. And down. Now just work through a pace or a couple more repetitions that suit you. Very good. Come back to a nice neutral spot. Tuck your toes and push up into your downward dog. Your feet don't need to be flat on the floor at this stage, but just gently start walking through. Keep your shoulder blades pulled back so that you're not hunching or doing anything strange. It's probably not the wisest shirt to wear, I'm sorry. Push back into both heels. And lower the knees down and sit back into your child's pose. Good. Come back up to all fours, tuck the toes, and push up again. And walk through the feet. Good. Come forwards on into a plank, into a nice big long plank. And then push the pelvis up again. Lower the knees a little bit wider and sit back into your child's pose. From here, like we did last time, thread an arm through, turn your head. And again, remember to reach with both hands. Keep breathing. Swap sides. Come back up onto all fours. And just work through a couple more cat-cows. Good, back to neutral. Now bring one leg through and so you're in a nice long lunge. With this, make sure that your pelvis stays facing forward so you're not twisting in any funky direction. You're staying nice and forward. Your foot is facing forward and your knee is tracking or would be tracking straight over your toes. Stay up nice and tall and lean into that nicely. Good. Pull back. Again, make sure you're not twisting your pelvis or doing anything strange with that. You're just coming right back. Toes pointing upwards and you'll really start to feel it in the posterior muscles. Once more, come forward into that lunge and just lift that back knee up a little bit. Careful not to twist. Go down and come back one last time. And let's swap legs. So you come forwards first of all into a nice long low lunge. It's a lot cooler here in New Zealand today. And pull back. You might feel a difference side to side in your legs. Once more, go forwards. And you can lift that back leg up. Good for your balance. Once more, come back. Good. Now let's come come forward. So your feet are fairly wide apart, but make sure your toes are facing forwards. You're leaning down. It's sort of like your downward dog, but different. Keep your pelvis poking upwards. Then just fold your arms and let your body hang forward, let your head hang down. Cross your arms. And just hang here for a little while. Keep breathing. You might get to the floor, you might not. That's okay. Keep breathing. Let's walk the hands over to the right leg. Keep your pelvis where it is though, so don't be twisting through your pelvis. And walk over to the left, which looks like your right. And come back to the middle. Lengthen your spine. So it's just a nice little pull after you've been folded forwards. And relax down again. Once more, sit up, lengthen the spine. And we'll do a little bit more of that. So come to sitting like we did yesterday again. So hands down, just behind your pelvis, shoulders pulled down and back, sit nice and tall. And now you keep your elbows and your shoulders nice and relaxed, but just apply a little bit of pressure through your palms just to sit you up nice and tall, as if your spine and your body is hanging off of your shoulders. Keep your neck nice and long. Sorry about that. Turn your head to the right. And to the left. Your core should be locked on. Come back to the middle. Relax for a second. Take a couple of breaths. Roll your shoulders. And we'll go again. So hands down by your hips. Push upwards or push downwards so that your body is just hanging nice and heavy. Notice how you feel from side to side. And once more, look to the right. And look to the left. Back to the middle. And relax down. Bring your either arm up and behind, and if you can, try to reach your fingers behind you. And sit up nice and tall. And same the other way. Very good. Turn around again. You guys didn't have to turn around, it's just so you could see. Let's take those legs outwards a little bit. It doesn't matter how wide you are. I'm quite tight at the moment. Some of you will be a lot wider, some of you not so much. The important thing here is that you're sitting up through the pelvis and not slouching backwards. So up nice and tall. Use your hands behind you if you need to, and just sit in that for a little while. Breathing. Good. If you'd like to, you can roll forwards a little bit and you'll feel it in those nice adductor muscles. Good. Let's bring our legs together to the side and sitting up nice and tall. With this, what you don't want to do is lean forward or slouch. So you stay nice and tall the whole time and reach towards your feet. Some people might only get here. Again, for some of you, that might be stretch enough through the hamstrings. So just feel what is right for you. But the important thing here is, like I said, not to slouch. So nice and tall. Keep the spine nice and long and just sit forwards a little bit. Good, coming up. Take a breath, and it's a big stretch for a lot of people, so shake your knees out if you need to. And then again, prepare yourself, so come up nice and tall and just aim for a little bit further, and whether that's just to there, or maybe you can reach your ankles, or maybe even just your knees, as long as you're staying nice and neutral through the spine, and go forwards. Okay, let's do some sideways stretching again, because that always feels good. So knees or legs crossed. Remember, it's as if we're being squished between two planes of glass. Take your arm up and over. Keep your neck nice and long. Keep your core switched on. And be careful not to fall forwards or backwards. Good, and come the other way. Back to the middle, like that one. Let's get into the glutes again, shall we? So lying on your back, that leg and that fore again, bring the knee up and just very gently roll from side to side. Moving around a little bit more today, which is good. We're not looking for big movements here, just little movements to get into the glutes. If you're not feeling that, you might need to pull your knee in a little bit more, or use your elbow to push your crossed leg outwards a little bit. Swap sides. Very good. Hug your knees into your chest for a little while, and you can roll here as well. This is quite a nice, easy one. Being nice to you still. Just take note here to feel how your gut, your tummy feels with you rolling your legs over it. Notice any tender spots. Hopefully there aren't any. Good. And extend both legs and hold your arms over the top of your head too, so you're in that nice long pencil shape. And breathe here a couple of times. Don't crowd your neck. Keep your neck long. Good. And now we'll get into those hamstrings again. So you can bring your knee up to your chest and then see how you go extending your leg. You might need to bend that bottom leg for a little bit. I didn't do that yesterday, sorry. It's the lower down that is the more of a stretch you'll get, but it so depends on each individual with where and what you feel. And if you did work your muscles a little bit more than usual yesterday, then you might find that you have a touch less movement today because it's a bit sore, and that's okay. And once again, none of these movements should ever hurt. I'm just very gently swaying my leg inwards and outwards. You can do this too, or you can just hold it in a static position, whichever feels good and best for your body. Let's swap sides. Watch what mine just did. My leg just moved its way outwards. Make sure it stays nice and straight so you're in line. Might notice, I mean, even my knee is not perfectly straight. It's okay. Again, this is just about you and what your body needs and what feels good. Good. Bend it down, hug the knees in a little bit. And feet flat on the floor again. Just take a moment to feel the ground, adjust your spine if you need to. Couple of big breaths. Just take note of any tension anywhere. Notice how your legs and your glutes are feeling now. Come up to sitting again, and we'll get into the sides again a little bit more. So we're going to do moving around a little bit more and using some of the same exercises just to go over the muscles. And go the other way. Good. Come back to the middle. Let's lengthen the spine again. Big breaths. And come back onto your knees. Back into all fours. Now, instead of sitting back into child's pose, you're going to stay here and thread your arm through. You can lie down on your shoulder and extend your arm out, but keep your pelvis pointing upwards. If this is not possible for you or too difficult, then come back into your child's pose and stick to this one like so, okay? And if you can come up, then do. Lean into that. I like this one. Okay, come the other way. Need to be more careful about what I wear. Good. Come back up to all fours and we'll just go through a couple more cat-cows. Tuck the toes and push up into your downward dog. And just notice if your heels find the floor a little bit easier this time around. Come forward into a bridge. And up again into downward dog. Come back down to kneeling. And sit back into child's pose. Knees together or knees apart, whichever you prefer. And really pull those fingers forwards. Fingers forwards, but shoulder blades back and down. Very good. And we'll just finish off with some head and neck and up across the upper trap a little bit. So once again, those feet nice and wide, and lean forwards and let your head and everything hang nicely. Let your head go nice and heavy, and just gently nod your head yes. And shake your head no, or don't shake your head, but move your head through a no movement. Come back to yes. And do another no. And then just find stillness. Use this time to really to poke your pelvis upwards so you can get any final stretch through the backs of your legs and your glutes. Good. And then come back onto go back to line. Nice and flat, close your eyes. Hands wherever they're comfortable. Slow the breath down. Relax your shoulders. And run that checklist through your body again. Nice and heavy, all the stress gone. I know that again you've done something really good for your body today, so well done. It seems like we'll have to finish there. Sorry about that, everybody. I'll catch up with you later. Have fun. Bye-bye.